This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody. WFO Radio is back. Our yearly Parade of Champions, the 2024 Lucas Oil Series champions. We're going to try to connect with each and every one of them. We know that, grassroots drag racing is the backbone of the sport. But as far as NHRA goes, divisional racing and the Lucas Oil Series, those champions that are part of the 400 and 500 racers that compete every weekend at NHRA national events go on to win championships. They deserve some spotlight to tell their stories before we get to go again. And so now our first champion of the 2025 Parade of Champions, Super Comp World Champion Colby Fuller, joins us now. Colby, congratulations on your accomplishment. Are you ready to do it again?
Oh, I'm more than ready. You know how the off season goes, though. It hasn't stopped since we left Pechanga, but we're getting ready piece by piece. But yeah, we're ready to hit the track.
That's interesting. I too am working on a car to go racing, and so thinking about it a little bit more in that context, trying to get ready for Orlando. That's where your world championship run started. Speed World Dragway 2024, kind of a crazy event. They crammed the schedule into all in one day. You won the race. That was your first divisional Wally. And it would, at that point, were you thinking the championship was a possibility?
I mean, obviously it was a really good start. We I have a love-hate relationship with Orlando because, Super Comp's not getting any slower. The shutdown's a little short. We've never really had any kind of good luck there, but the way the divisional schedule is laid out, if you miss one, you kind of have to travel a good ways to go to the next one. So Dad was trying to say, like, you know what, let's just see what happens. If it doesn't go the way we want, then we just drop it and, hit the next one. But yeah, the early luck, it didn't really spark a championship chase, but obviously not a bad start either. So we kind of just went with that from there. But
I like it. So let's take a pause. And you're what, 24, 25 years old?
Just turned 25 right before the banquet.
All right. Well, happy birthday to you. How did this all happen for you? Let's go back in that. I know your dad raced. That's how most people get into it. You had a junior dragster, but what are your earliest memories from the drag strip and how you got into this crazy world?
Well, growing up watching Dad, he just kind of bracket raced a whole lot. As I got older, he progressed to more NHRA racing. He got a super gas car. I forget how old I was, probably somewhere between 10 and 13. And he started with that a little bit. We have a super gas association down here in Division 2 that I think Jeff Ashley and Chris Lewis are running now. But I got to watch him do that a little bit, so that kind of got us going on the NHRA side of things. And I finally got to try my hand at it 15 going on 16, and we won the Southeast Super Gas Association in 15. So that was kind of the spark of the whole .90 racing and getting things going there. And then I think I got my first dragster right after I turned 16. And we tried a little bit there. Never really were all that successful, but we'd focus more on bracket racing at that point because that was like the start of all the real big money stuff. And it's no big secret that not that you make money bracket racing, but there's not a whole lot in the whole NHRA side of it other than just the glory of the trophy and the championship chases. But yeah, that's kind of how everything got started. But
well, I think that's a worthwhile point to make in that, it's so hard to win. If you're going to win, it's going to be your day. It better be worth something, right? And and either on these big money bracket races, we see like 0000 dead on. So in the end, that's a cosmic coin flip, how it goes one way or the other. Super comp racing is the same, but the glory and the notoriety that comes with that, it makes big names. And I like the fact that you came up, through bracket racing. You're still a bracket racer, but that you found interest in the style of .90 racing. You're not racing till 3 a.m. and you're not racing through 2 races in a day, but there's something of value out there.
Yeah, the .90 stuff, it's got its own level of difficulty when you you can make time runs on Thursday and then one round on Friday when the weather's completely different. Track may be different. It might have rained that afternoon. You don't really know what you're going to get 100% of the time. So that's what I like about it. And it's definitely not any easier than any other style of racing, but it just offers a different level of difficulty that I find appealing, obviously.
Yeah, well, you're a world champ, which is amazing. So let's move on from that Orlando win and take us through the rest of the season. I know that you stood on the stage at the Charlotte 4 wide, and so hot start, right? This is before April. You got a couple of Wallies, you got a nice little total. Tell me a little bit about that win and when you started to think like, hey, this could be something more than a top 10 season.
Yeah, I think we had one or two division races before we hit Charlotte, and those were terrible. Difficulties with the car, mentally, on track, whatever it was, we were having issues. And then we get to Charlotte, and things started rolling a little bit there. The weekend started a little rough, but we kind of just, it was more of a incentive to win that weekend. So I don't know, we just kind of went round by round, dodging punches, and found ourselves in the final. Semis were a little rough, but like old Jason Lynch always says, fast car wins. But we make it to the final, lay down a good lap there, and then we're rolling down the return road. We do the whole speech and pictures and everything. We go to head back to the trailer, and me and Dad kind of looked at each other and we're like, here it is, April. We've got a divisional win and a national event win, and the way the total works, you got 3 and 5, so now we've got one of each. So we got a good opportunity to capitalize on that. So going from there, the options just got greater. So now we can still capitalize on what we have left, which was at that point, I think 3 more nationals, maybe 4 more nationals and 4 more divisionals. So like we had a good bit ahead of us. And if we just kept our head straight and did decent, then we could at least finish good. Maybe not championship wasn't really in the view there, but we, because we knew it wasn't going to be easy and there's a lot of great people coming up behind us, but we knew we had a decent chance to finish decent, at least top 5, if we just did nothing but go a couple rounds the rest of the year.
Okay, talk about Indy, because I always say there's this thing out there, like you really don't know what's good or bad in the, and like, oh, this is terrible, but maybe it's not. And you went to Indy and you broke an engine, and in the moment that might be a terrible thing, right? You missed out on Indy, but there was actually a silver lining to the whole deal that you couldn't have known in the moment. Talk a little bit about that story and why you went to the Big Go.
So to start with, I flew out to California to help Steve Williams and Shelby drive one of their rigs out because they needed just an extra person to help make the drive, because for them, I think it was 24 hours. And at the time I wasn't going to Indy because it's just for me, it's not an event you want to run if you're chasing points. It's 7 days, 1 round a day. It's just not kind of what you look for if you're trying to build momentum to win a race. So we drive out there, and of course, as soon as you roll in the gates, it's kind of like, I kind of want to go home and get my stuff and come back. But it was in the back of my head. I think there was open spots, and I think we got there Monday or Tuesday, and me, Steve, and Shelby are sitting in the motorhome, and Steve gives us this whole spiel about if you want to be one of the best racers or one of the most remembered, that Indy's the one to win, and it's tough, and it's everybody's goal to win Indy, or everybody would like to win Indy. So we sit there and we probably talk for 3 hours, and I got a flight out the next morning. I called Dad, and he's like, "It's up to you. Like, this is your points chase, your year. Do whatever you want to do." But he also was like, if you're going to go, you might as well. So I fly home Tuesday. My stuff is in pieces. I get back here. I put it all back together, load up, and hit the road right away. So I roll in the gate, I think it was Wednesday morning at 6 a.m., straight into time runs. We get there, something doesn't sound right. Pull the valve cover off. We grenaded a spring, and we were also having some starter issues, but that was something else. But I get Chad Taylor down there. He helps out over there at Par, so he takes a look at it, and we kind of put a Band-Aid on it for the weekend. So it's not at its full potential, but it runs nonetheless. And then first round just didn't go our way, but we knew we couldn't race the rest of the year on that motor, so I left there that afternoon. So I was at Indy for all of not even 48 hours, and I drive back down to Par, pull the motor in the parking lot. They get it going on it right away, and I think at this point Charlotte is less than 2 weeks away. So we've got 2 weeks to take a motor apart, put it back together, and get it back to how it was. So those boys, they always do a great job. They knocked it out. I left for Charlotte, went straight back up to Par on Wednesday. We threw the motor in, and I think I didn't even have it finished. I just had it set in the car, and I finished it right before time runs on Thursday in Charlotte.
Wow. All right. So for everybody out there, like let's break that down a little. Steve Williams gives you a speech. He's like, I don't know if he ripped his shirt off or what, but telling you what a big deal Indy is. You got motivated. You flew home. You dragged your stuff there and broke it. So that had to be like you love Steve, and then you're like, Steve, talk me into going to Indy. But that exposed a problem that would have showed up in Charlotte had you not run the car. And that's the point. You don't know what's good or bad. Had you not exposed that problem, that would have changed the points season a little bit, because then Charlotte, you don't run it, you break in Charlotte, and maybe you can't get the points that you got that helped you become the champion. That's where I'm going with all that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Charlotte was difficult too, because going into the weekend we had I had 2 quarterfinals and a win is what I was claiming. So I had to semi or better to make any points. And we already knew that was kind of a stretch, but obviously we did well in Charlotte at the beginning of the year. So we figured, you know what, let's just see how it goes. And we found ourselves in the semi. So we made 10 points. So there's the highlight of all that with the whole rebuild and everything. So
10 points.
Yeah.
And how much did you win? How much did you win the deal by?
I ended up winning it by a little less than 40.
All right.
But
part of the total.
What rolling into Vegas at the end of the year, I had to win third round. If I don't get the 10 points there, you got to win fourth and win the race to clinch it. So little points matter.
See, that is so cool. The championship season, the way it all works out. So you weren't done yet, though. You dodged some bullets right there. You had to go west and run Bakersfield. That explain to people how that that works. That you get an opportunity to run Bakersfield, and you had success there.
Yeah. So at the end of the year, when you're swinging for it, you kind of want to be there in the mix. So I figured heading west, that's the last couple of races. That's my only opportunity to be there for when it all comes down to the nitty gritty. So we left Biondo's race in Bristol, headed straight to Bakersfield. I left Sunday afternoon and rolled into Bakersfield Tuesday morning. And we get there and we test a little bit, and things still aren't great. The car's not perfect. We roll into race number 1. A lot on my mind, obviously. Those are our last 2 to claim. I need to do really well at least 1. And first round, I just absolutely fell out the car and the wind light didn't come on. So now I am about 2,500 miles from my house. I just lost first round. I have 1 left to go, and I pretty much have to win it to have a decent shot when we go to Vegas for the last divisional. So the pressure's on now. And of course, Steve goes on to win the first one. So it's kind of like, all right, well, let's take a page from his book. So we sit down and we talk and we figure out what we need to do and what needs to go our way on the second one. And I don't know how, still to this day, but everything kept falling our way. And we find ourselves in the final there, where I run one of the Theobalds in the final, and it was a really good race. I think I was 11 behind a few 10th thou to be like dead 4. He's 15 and under by 1 thou or 2. It was just a really good race. So, but yeah, that was a really good afternoon. Like, we knew going into that day, like I say, I have to do good. I had to win to have a somewhat of a decent shot going into Vegas. So, but it all worked out. It was really stressful, but being that far from home and turning on the last wind light, it was pretty special, especially to do it with Shelby, Steve, and her mother, Janet.
That is awesome. And if memory serves me right, like Steve was kind of in the championship conversation,
Oh yeah.
down to the wire, and he's helping you at the same time.
Yeah, no, he's right behind me the whole time. So he wins the first one. And I'm like, I came out here to win this thing, and now he's going to snatch it from me after I made all the effort to get out here. I was like, oh well, either way, if either one of us wins, like it's obviously a good year for the both of us. But still a good year. I think he finished third. So first and third out of our camp isn't a bad year at all.
All right, so talk about the clincher. Like the moment you became a championship, I know like you had a run that could have been of consequence and had an opponent broke competition single. So like you got to get up, and then all of a sudden, nah, you're gonna clinch it here. Take me inside that moment.
Yeah, so starting that day, and I don't know how it ended up being this way, but the last Vegas divisional, there's a lot of cars there, so it's the schedule is ran a lot like to me what Indy would be. So I think we started on like Wednesday. They have the shootouts and everything, and first round wasn't until Friday. So we've been there for like 3 or 4 days now, and we still haven't ran first round. And Friday, I think that's all we did was run first round. So we click off first round, we're good to go. Now I have to sleep on it again, and we're going into Saturday, second round. I forget who I ran, but when light comes on, it was another close one. I'm trying to like ease the mood a little bit. I get back to the trailer and I tell Steve, because second round was for the division. So I'm like, all right, cool. We just won the division. And here he goes again with this speech. He's like, knock that off. That's not what we're here for. If you want to win the division, you could have done that at home, kind of thing. I was like, all right, well, we just got to click on this next win light to take the lead. And he's like, all right, yeah, just keep your head there and just don't overthink it, but you didn't come here to win the division. So I was like, all right, cool. So we roll into third round. I think another one like 8/10 the stripe going my way. It's getting a little hairy. But going into fourth round, I have to run Adam Hicks, which is one of our good buddies out there, and it's for the bye fifth round. So won third round, took the lead, win fourth round, I get the bye to clinch it. So he's been having what we thought was starter issues all weekend. So we roll up there, and I'm kind of joking with him, asking him like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, this turd of a car, whatever, this and that. So we roll up in the water box, and I'm not thinking about it, just trying to stay calm, roll through the water. And one of our buddies there, he sticks his head in the cage and he gives me that. And I'm like, not yet. We haven't clinched the deal. We're not number one yet. He's like, no, you have a solo. And I look over and they're pushing him back. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I really hope that something's broken. Nobody's like trying to throw around, because I'm like, that doesn't look good. But come to find out, he sheared all the converter bolts off, I think it was. So it was a nice, easy parade lap. But I would have rather had ran him there, but stuff happens. Cars break. It is what it is. But
Yeah, whatever. And somebody's going to say something, and who cares? Honestly, who cares? You just do your deal. Well, congratulations! What a great story. I love the behind the scenes. Not only is he a champ, but he's a good motivational speaker, Steve Williams. And you go out there, and at 24 years old, you win your first world championship in dramatic fashion. That is very exciting. And what was your dad's reaction? I got to hang out with your dad a little bit at PRI. And I could tell he's very proud of your accomplishment. And, you're just getting started. What was that like? Like, wow, we started the year off divisional winner in Orlando. We're now world champions. Like, we did it. That kind of moment.
Yeah, so like as soon as I get off the track, I take my helmet off, grab my phone, I FaceTime him. He's at work. We're obviously really busy while I'm going. So like the both of us, we just kind of looked at each other. We didn't really know what to say. And he was just, good job, this and that. And, we're a little emotional here and there. But and another funny part to the story is everybody at that point was so caught up in the race, and Steve's always focused on the win, and you win it, and then there's no questions about it. So I get off the phone with him, and I'm like, I've been up at the top end for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm like, man, everybody's probably waiting for me back at the trailer. I'm expecting like 20 people there to be like, hell yeah, congratulations. And I get back to the trailer, and there's nobody to be found. And they all come rolling back up, and we're snatching things off the car, trying to get it cooled for the next round and putting the charger on it. And I'm like looking at everybody, and they're all like freaking out. And I'm like, guys, it's over with. If we didn't go back up for the next one, we've won the championship. And at that point, everybody realized that I had to kind of break down the points for them. But once we realized that we had actually clinched it, then it was a little bit of a party. But
that's awesome. That is awesome. All right. So what is your plan for 2025 title defense? You going to go after it again? You can try to win back-to-back, a feat that is extremely rare in the world of super comp racing.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to go for it, right? You got the gold card, you got all this. You'd be dumb not to do it. But the schedule is still up in the air. We had a lot of schedule changes for Division II. So I'm still working on the schedule, but yeah, might as well try to do it one more time.
There you go. Colby, anybody you want to thank for this championship run? I know you got sponsors. I see a couple of them on your shirt, Par for your engine, Fuel Factory for your fuel. But, shout it out. This is your moment. Who you got?
Dave Mazier at Mazier. They've been helping me out a good bit. Par Race Engines, Maddox Race Cars. Matt Bannerman at MBE. Me, him, and Steve are working on a little project. Probably won't be out till middle of the year, but we should be going fast at some point. Hoosier Race Tires, Fuel Factory, Dave Morris. I think that's about it.
That's great. Tremendous deal. A huge accomplishment. And, I'm going to try to run Super Street a little bit in the future. And I think, like, what am I doing, though? Like, this is dumb because these guys are killers out here. And I know that's where you got your start in .90 or you got a nice Camaro that runs in Super Street. Got any advice for me?
Don't overthink it. Just do what looks right and what feels right.
There you go. I like that. That's how I live anyway. Colby, great job. Congratulations on your championship. Thank you for spending a little time on WFO Radio, and good luck in 2025.
Thank you, bud. See you in a couple of weeks.
There he goes. Colby Fuller, your 2024 Super Comp World Champion.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF X-Fit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
How great was Colby Fuller? How great was Colby Fuller? Look clunky right there, Joe. But hey, it is what it is, right? Live to tape, live to live. It's a little clunky sometimes, but you got to keep going regardless. The Parade of Champions has begun. And Colby is first, but there will be more. Hopefully we're going to connect with Joe Sorensen and everybody that won a Lucas Oil Championship. But it's not that long until we start racing. We're inside of 30 days. That's why it's so exciting that Project Pontiac is progressing. And I've talked a little bit about it more and more as we get closer and closer. And just someone mentioned the smalls yesterday, like the little stuff, engine in, headers in, transmission in, torque converter in, FTI on board with those things, and really excited. But like, I need a new transmission yoke or a drive shaft yoke and all of these things. And it's the little stuff that you don't know you need. But we're, clicking them off, doing some great stuff, but really excited to hear that Colby is going to try to go back to back. We will have a show next week. Obviously been big news lately. We had the Proc family on. We had Ida on. Alan Reinhart made his big announcement, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to delve into the champions. Also, the Pro Superstar Shootout over there in Bradenton, Florida. I'm really excited about that and the teams that are going to go there, and they're going to run for big money, and they're going to test, and they're going to get ahead of the schedule here in 2025. So it is all happening. What I ask from you guys, if you're a Lucas Oil Series racer, share the show, because the people who won the championship deserve as much notoriety as we can get them. right? Yes, I do a show. We do some interviews as best as we can with drag racers of all kinds. And the only way that what we put together here gets out there is through algorithms, and the best algorithm, which is you guys sharing the show. Simple as that. Same goes for race fans. And then every once in a while, I might hawk you something. I might tell you about PowerTube TV, and you can download the app and you can watch WFO Radio on PowerTube TV, along with all the old classic Pinks shows and Pastime and all that stuff. Whole bunch of different content on their PowerTube TV. Very exciting. And follow along with Project Pontiac. You know, there are shirts available in the WFO store. I don't fully expect people to just buy the swag immediately. Maybe WFO Radio or the Miami Hollywood Speedway stuff. It's all on sale from time to time. But the Project Pontiac, you got to be a Pontiac person, right? Like, the What No Way guy told us yesterday. He's a Pontiac guy. Like, if you're a Chevy or Ford guy, even if you like WFO, you might not walk around with a Project Pontiac shirt on, or maybe you would. I don't know. That's available in our WFO Radio store. They're having sales all the time. Big shout out to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Frank and Lana, call him. Simple as that. Call him. Work it out. Go drive a dragster in 2025. You know, I could tell you all day long. It's fun and it's amazing, and there's a feeling of accomplishment. You'll walk away feeling proud and like you did something big. And you'll talk about it for the rest of your life. Like, what's the value on that? And that's up to you. You decide, a chance to break out of your boring, mundane lives. Do something exciting. What do I know? Of course. And Marvin Rodak, this guy, 817-924-6821. The best coffee. He's a drag racer. He was on board with Camry 2 years ago, was on board with Hartford last year a little bit. He's in Fort Worth, Texas. If you're down there, you can actually stop by the shop. You can pick up some coffee. You can definitely, the hot sauces and the spice rubs. My favorite hot sauce in the whole world. No joke. It's not Tabasco. I don't dislike Tabasco, and I love hot sauces. Turns out, I'm trying some SoCal hot sauce lately, but the Rodak's Habanero Endorphin Booster is what it's called. Is bar none my favorite hot sauce that is available. I get it from Marvin every once in a while. I trouble him for a little more hot sauce, but it's the coffee that keeps me coming back. 817-924-6821. Those crazy people that really want to support the show by becoming a VIP member. This is like one of those websites where people can pay directly for the content that you create. The content that we create is special behind the scenes WFO stuff. Yeah. That's special to patreon.com. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/WFO Radio. Become a VIP member, follow the show, support the show, and we'll definitely, give you behind the scenes content. It's been kind of interesting lately. We'll see. Of course, Foggett, Gary Stinnett and his brand. Order it at Summit Racing Equipment. Big on board with WFO Radio as well. Bernie's Speed Shop. The guys at Bernie's now on board with the Pro Superstar Shootout as a premier sponsor. They're diving in big to that event in Bradenton. Why wouldn't you? But really, Josh, they need stuff for the showroom. So if you've got a classic car that you're thinking about parting ways with, a muscle car, a current car, an exotic car, a luxury car, Bernie Speed Shop is a dealership, and they're looking for more cars for the showroom. So BURNYZZ, reach out to Bernie's. Let them know you heard about it on WFO Radio. It's always good when the sponsor's here. You heard on WFO. Like David Allen with HusseyPerformance.net. What we're going to do is we're going to give his number right now. Like, I know we got a lot of Lucas Oil Series racers that wanted to see Colby and our parade of champions, but David Allen is ready to make gaskets, not just copperhead gaskets, but gaskets for all you guys. I put some on Project Pontiac. I'm very excited about them. 724-318-8292. That's his personal cell. 724-318-8292. Call David Allen. They're made in America right there in Beaver Falls. The best material sourced here in the United States. They're currently used throughout the top fuel ranks. They're copperhead gaskets, but not just copperhead gaskets anymore. Oil pan gaskets struggled to get there, but valve cover gaskets, everything is now made by the folks at HusseyPerformance.net. So give them a call, 724-318-8292. Thank you, David, for being on board and sending us out a set of gaskets real quick. We were in need, and it's the timing of the deal. Like the local speed shops, guys, they don't have like local speed shops anymore. Like there's nowhere to go and say, yeah, I need a set of Ram Air 4 exhaust gaskets, and they just have them. My friend Charlie had a set, but I didn't want to bother him, so got David Allen on board. He fired me up, sat down, and we lost very little time. Because in the end, we're in a race against time. CWT Industries. This is Randy Neal's company. Balance machines, machine shops. Look, the Hidden Horsepower Show is very popular in the machine shop engine builder universe because they're revealing secrets and people are talking about the work that they've done. But that's where we met Randy. And he is just an A-plus guy, originally from South Florida, and has put together some of the best balance machines in the business. You go to the high-end machine shops and you will find CWT Industries machines in many of them. Now, I know it's a huge investment, guys. It's like, this is not the Dragster Adventure, which is a great value. This is a huge investment, but you will make the money back in your machine shop because you can keep those balance jobs humming. They are, it's easier to train. They're easier to do. The machine works better, quicker, faster. Like, in the end, that's time is money. It's one of those time is money deals. Go to CWTindustries.com. Send me an email, joe@WFOradio.com. I'll just put you together with Randy Neal, and he'll be very happy. Of course, FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, Total Seal Piston Rings, and Jesse Converters all on board with WFO Radio. I am just super excited about our Parade of Champions. We got more to come. What a week it has been. The archive is waiting for you. And if you listen to the audio-only podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, whichever you like. Like, where do I get my podcast? Do you want to know about that? I subscribe to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud because I want to check to make sure the show goes out and everywhere and what it looks like. And I'm every once in a while just kind of sharing from those different things. But write us a review. The audio-only show still goes like gangbusters because people take it on the road. And honestly, you don't get to see my face, but you're not missing much. You're not missing much. Yes, the other day, we played a video, and there was kind of, music under the video. So the podcast people had to struggle with that for a moment or two. Some visuals, but mostly, this is an audio show. And the YouTube channel. Subscribe on YouTube, share the show, copy that link, send it to your friends. Say, friends, this show's pretty good. And that's it. Get yourself a shirt. The 2025 NHRA Lucas Oil Series season getting ready to start. Orlando, Baby Gators, Gator Nationals. Of course, that'll all be happening after the Pro Superstar Shootout, which is a shootout race for huge money. There's going to be a little super stock going on there. Some top sportsmen there. The state of Florida has got it all going on in January and February. So it is super exciting. And congratulations to Colby. How about Steve Williams giving these like motivational speeches? You're going to get out there and you're going to give it all you've got. And you're going to join the U.S. Nationals like that. Man, guy flew home, got his car, and then broke it. But without that moment, maybe he doesn't become champion. Always keep that in mind. When you're driving down the road, the light turns red and you stop. Think about it. You never know what's good or bad. All right, guys, WFO, appreciate you. Hit that archive. Final show of the week. We'll see you soon. WFO.